Hey, Facebook world. I'm doing another live video. Um, Hopefully, it can all be heard, and yeah, you guys can all see it and everything. But when I thought about doing my next live, I actually thought about doing the live on connections because connections are so important to us as human beings. Um, it's important for us to feel connected to people, to either have personal touch or just a good conversation, to know that people have our backs, and to know that we can go on together. Oh, there we are. I had frozen for a minute on my screen. But so that's what I was gonna do the live video on, and I will still do a video on connections because I think that's really important in our lives. However, what I thought of the other night, after I have had a few intakes this week, and I've had intakes, of course, in the past as a therapist, and what an intake involves, if you've never done one before, is you want to get as much information as you can out of a client. You are really digging deep into a lot of different aspects of their life at once. So, you're asking about, first of all, why they're there. And you're asking about any abuse that may happen in the home. If it's an adult, you're asking about their childhood and anything that went on there. You're asking if, any of their family members use substance abuse. We're asking, are there any health issues in your family, like any mental health diagnoses? We're really looking for ones like bipolarism, schizophrenia, things like that could really affect you as a human being growing up in a home with somebody who has that. I'm not saying that they're bad diagnoses or you shouldn't have them. It's just if the person who has them hasn't taken care of themselves, then that can really affect you uh, in your communication and in the way you go about life, in your behaviorisms. So, so it's like a whole long thing, and it can last an hour and a half. Um, and so I had done a few intakes this week, over multiple days, and what I was thinking about when I was laying in bed one night was, you know, a spider web, pretty much. And when we do intakes, and when we start intakes, I'll ask questions, and the questions will lead down certain paths. Um, and a lot of times I'll get clients who say, oh no, that hasn't happened, or no, there has been no abuse of any kind. And then you get further along in the intake, and there really has been abuse. Some people actually don't know that they have been around physical abuse or emotional abuse or neglect because that was their life growing up. And it has been normalized so much in not only their home, but maybe their neighborhoods, maybe the social circles, maybe their larger family circle. So they really don't understand, yeah, hey, you were verbally abused. And you may not put a lot of emphasis on it, and we probably shouldn't, but it actually means something. It really did affect you, or you were physically abused. And so when I was thinking about these intakes, and lying in bed and thinking about a spider web, I thought intakes are kind of like walking into a spider web, or when somebody tells you about their life, right? It's like walking into a spider web. So imagine maybe a massive spider web, and maybe you don't want to because spiders are not cool, and you have a fear of them. But imagine one, and you're standing in front of this big spider web that will fit your whole body, and you walk right into it, and now you're surrounded by this messy, sticky substance that you're going to have to start pulling off. And it's not going to be easy to pull them off, right? It's sticky. Spider webs are meant to be sticky because they're meant to trap their food so that they have a way to eat. Um, so if that's what they're meant for and they get on you, they're going to do their job, obviously, unless you're like in a really big spider web, right? It's not going to be anything for a human being. But we're still going to have to pull it out of our hair, pull it off of our, you know, legs, our arms, wherever it got onto. And once we start pulling these strands of spider webs, we are going to start seeing things a little bit differently. We're going to start making connections that maybe we didn't make before, or maybe we didn't understand before. This is why, in my opinion, a therapist is really great to have. I'm a therapist, so of course I'm going to be like, yes, go get one. But a therapist is really going to help you understand your behaviorisms. They're going to help you understand your trauma, even if you don't want to talk about your trauma, because it's going to affect you. And it does affect you. You just don't always see this. But yeah, so that spider web, like, I thought to myself, what a perfect analogy that was. Because like I said, I have clients who tell me, oh no, my kids haven't been around abuse, or I haven't been around abuse. And then they start talking about their childhood or where their kids have to go. Maybe that's not in their home. And I'm like, oh, okay, wait, hold up. Wait, that was physical abuse. Do you understand that? Like, let's take a step back and let's talk about that. Or they'll say, like, yeah, everything was great growing up, or nothing was really bad, but you have a neglectful father all of a sudden, you told me. Like, wait, where's that coming from? Or your siblings got into some sort of substance abuse, or your parents are substance abusers, or they went to jail for something. And we really, it's like, it's normalized behavior. We grew up with that. We don't understand that maybe wasn't the best place to grow up. Or maybe we just put on our face and we're just like, no, we're going to be happy no matter what, right? And we should be. Positivity is really, really great to have. But you have to understand where you come from. And so if we're really happy and everything's great, but then we had a parent who went to jail for something like sexual abuse or drug use or whatever else, maybe it's time to stop and think about how this is affecting us. So when we're pulling on our strands, however you're doing it, whether you go to a self-help group, you get a life coach, right? Even a business coach is probably going to help you recognize some things you are unaware of. Or you seek out a therapist, or you watch self-help podcasts or listen to them, or self-help books. It does not matter how you go about pulling these strands, but it is a sticky mess. I think, however, it is a beautiful sticky mess. It is one that I highly enjoy helping people break down and move forward and understand and hold a place for, but then they move forward with their life. And we hold this place for the past and what the past has done to us. Because if you're a kid, the past really has done something to you. You didn't ask to be abused. That wasn't part of, you're up in heaven, and if you believe that and you're like, yeah, I want to go to that family, but hell, I would love for my dad to hit me all the time, or I would love for my uncle to sexually abuse me. We don't ask for that. That does happen to us. It's an unfortunate situation when people have choices, and some people choose bad behaviorisms that are very tragic for people. But I love to take those and dissect them, and then we hold a spot for them. And we look at them and we see, how are these affecting my present today? What's happening? What's going on? Because we have to look into the past in order to understand our present, and we have to look at the future and the past and our present in order to make future plans to move ahead. Because if we don't have what we want going for us in the future, we are just going to be stagnant. And if we do not look towards the past and understand how the past has created who we are today, we will not be able to move forward as well. So when you're thinking about spider webs, right, when you're out and about and you notice one, think about what you can start pulling, what string in your own life that you can pull to start breaking down some of your barriers, to start understanding a little bit more about yourself. And of course, here's my plug. I would love to help you do that, whether that's through life coaching or as a therapist. I hope that every one of you can discover who you truly need to be who you want to be, and that those strands that you're pulling lead you to an amazing life. All right, that's all I have for today. If you guys have a topic you want me to talk about, definitely comment, private message me. I would love to keep doing these lives and keep talking about things that not only I think are important, but other people think are important too.